Hey guys, it's Matt. Today, we're going to talk about one of my favorite X-Men. He's a member of the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants. This is the new Sabretooth Premium Format from Sideshow Collectibles. Let's get into it. Alright, so Sideshow has provided us with this super awesome art box that comes with your statue. Not every company does this, and I love that Sideshow does. We always get this incredible large format art that accompanies our piece. On the front, you've got a photo that's sort of been posterized of the actual statue itself underneath the Sabretooth font. All around, you've got this brown motif that calls out Sabretooth's costume. And this large photo treatment goes almost all the way around the box. On the back, you have the large X, denoting that this is an X-Men statue. And on this side, you've got this cool Sabretooth scratch marks, which are 5 instead of the 3 that we're used to with Wolverine, his counterpart. On the top, it just has another logo treatment, and on the bottom, you've got your number matching. So this is a number matched box. This is number 199 of 1,000 in this statue run. Let's start by putting them together with the base first. Now, here you have Sabretooth's awesome sort of rock and snow base display. He comes with this rock outcropping sort of mountainous terrain, a large log with scratch marks in it, and then snow and an animal skull right here on the bottom. The bottom of the base has the artwork here with logos, Sabretooth Premium Format Figure, 0199 of 1,000. I actually like this is a little detail for me, but for whoever numbered this, used very neat handwriting and actually used 4-digit places instead of 3 in the number, because there are 4-digit places in the run of the statue. You've got this sort of call out to this posterized artwork over here. It's just in 2 colors, the gray and the white, and then the scratches going through. I really like this bottom design. You never see it, but it's nice to know that it's there. So now next we have his body. His body, torso, and everything are all one piece, and this goes into the base with a really large key right here, accompanied by a pin. Be careful putting this in. It's a little hard to find the hole at the bottom here, but once you get it, it slides right in, and there's a strong magnet on the left foot that holds him in place. We're going to add Sabretooth's hands here, his hands and his forearms. These gloves are amazing. The stitching, the leather, texture, all that, just fantastic. They're keyed so you won't put them on wrong. Got your left arm and your right arm, and they only go one way. Here we have Sabretooth's open mouth portrait. This is keyed, and there's a stitching along his neckline that hides the key. You can only put this in one way as well, but there you go. This is the collector's edition of this statue. Now, this is the collector's edition that I have here. There also is an exclusive edition that has a second portrait with a different expression. Let's talk a little bit about my thoughts on this statue. Now, Sabretooth is an iconic character. He's a nemesis of Wolverine. He's been connected to Wolverine through a whole lot of his history, and he has similar mutant powers. The only difference being that he is sort of guided by his rage. Sabretooth has let his animalistic side take over in a lot of ways. He's just as berserk and ferocious and dangerous as Wolverine can be, and their rivalry has been one of my favorites in comics. Getting to the finer details of the statue itself. Starting at the base here, what we have is a beautifully sculpted rock base. Now, the details and painting of these rocks give me a sense of where we are. And that's high in Rocky Mountains. We've got this sort of dead tree that's fallen over. It's buried in these rocks and snow. And it just gives me a sense that we're out in the wilderness without giving too many cues about that. And I just really, really like the way that the sculptors at Sideshow are able to do that. Moving up to Sabretooth's feet here, we've got this awesome tread on his boots. And we've got this super detailed textured leather that goes right up into his suit. And this whole suit looks like it's made of leather. There's a texturing that goes all throughout, heavy stitching, and it's all sculpted in. This is a 100% sculpted premium format. This is not a mixed media statue. That's actually kind of a rarity in terms of premium formats, but if it's something you prefer, this is going to be a statue that you're going to be happy with. You've got really accurate costume design all throughout, so the stitching and the way this costume is constructed actually makes sense. You can see where stress lines and all that would be. So there's been a lot of research into how these costumes go together. The musculature on these, again, it's exaggerated, but it sure is convincing, and it just looks fantastic. You've got this fur that goes all the way around Sabretooth's collar, and the way that this is sculpted in and done gives it a sense of flow that I really appreciate, but it's not overdone by any means. It doesn't draw your eye, because this fringe is a pretty distinct feature of Sabretooth's classic costume, but it doesn't draw my eye away. I've seen some other designs where it's really, really big or really deeply painted, and it does tend to draw my eye away, and here it works really, really well altogether. The gauntlet design is one of my favorite parts of this statue. He's got these huge spikes on his elbows. They just look absolutely lethal. And the gauntlets themselves are just, they just look like they would add strength to him just by the fact that they're so sturdy themselves. And they still have holes for his big claws to come through. Everything is sculpted, the stitching on the palms, multiple layers, they're stitched together here along the bottom side of his wrists. The top, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 different layers, 5 different layers of sculpted in detail. Just gives so much structure. One thing I love about these statues is that the longer you look at them, the more you have them, the more details pop out to you. Now, getting into the portrait here. I just love this portrait. This collector's edition comes with this open mouth screaming portrait, which to me is absolutely iconic of Sabretooth. He's always pissed, and it shows. Now, he's got these long sideburns that are sculpted in all the way around his leather mask that continues up from around his sort of half-hooded cowl here. The teeth and the tongue and the mouth are all fully sculpted all the way back to his throat. The teeth are painted in a very realistic fashion, so they're not just white, they're not just bone, they're actually a combination and a fade through of all of that. The paint job on this statue is just, I'm really, really, really happy with it overall. He's got these kind of whited out eyes, which are very iconic to the comics. He doesn't have pupils or irises. They're occluded by, I would guess, sort of his berserker rage. Cool eyebrows that come up, and then this flowing hairstyle that actually follows the movement of the statue overall. So you get that sense of what he's going to do. He's actually moving to swipe with his right arm, and that's all telegraphed in the hair and the sculpt here. The paint is really nice. It's not too subtle. It's not too deep. Overall, it just works really, really well. Now the yellow, and since I'm talking about the paint, I actually want to talk about the yellow that they've gone with here. You see Sabretooth in a lot of different colors. Some people like the more darker orangey. Some people like it a more light. He's been through a few different costume designs that change this up. This is a very it's a very leathery color. It's a very, if you've ever seen yellow dyed leather, it very much looks like that. It doesn't just look like any color of yellow that you would pick out of the sky and apply here. It actually looks like what would realistically be possible from a dyed leather that you would have on a jacket or something like that. Shading is really, really well done too. So you've got this kind of darker, almost brown, and then a very subtle highlights picked out in the yellow parts along the rib cage here, thighs, calves, all of that. Just adds a lot of depth to the statue. Now, there was a Sabretooth done by Sideshow in premium format not too long ago. When this was announced and came out, I thought, oh, I already have, we already have a Sabretooth, and I really like that one. And I wasn't sure about this, but man, the more I saw it, and the more I saw people with it in hand, I was like, I just really got to get that piece. When I finally got it in hand, I could not have been happier. The sculpt and detail are just mind-blowing. It's years beyond where the last one was, and I'm very happy with it. I still have the old Sabretooth. I still like it. It goes with the brown Wolverine that I have, though he's in the snow with the Japanese bridge beneath him. But man, this one is great as an upgrade to that sort of kind of. This one goes well with the modern Magneto, the more modern Wolverine, and this proximity base has a mate in Cyclops. Cyclops is on a rocky snow piece like this, so the Cyclops premium format would actually go well with this. But really, this goes well with any Wolverine. I have him paired with my Logan premium format. It's almost like he's outside and Logan's inside the bar. They're going to go at each other. So that's how I have them displayed. I highly recommend this statue. If you have other Sabretooth pieces that you like, maybe you wouldn't supplant them completely, but it would definitely supplement them in a very satisfying way. I think that I wouldn't call it a must buy, but it's a highly recommended buy. So he's still available on Sideshow right now. If you go to sideshow.com, search out Sabretooth Premium Format, he'll pop up. You cannot get the exclusive anymore. That is sold out, but this collector's edition is still available. If you're a Sabretooth fan, if you're an Xmen fan, if you need some villains to go against all of the heroes that you've got, man, it doesn't get much better than Sabretooth. So jump on Sideshow, pick one up, and happy collecting.
Be sure to subscribe by hitting the S icon on your screen and click the bell icon to be notified whenever a new video is posted. If you'd like more info on the items featured in this video, click the link provided under product info. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to let your geek side show.